Hey Edson, it's Mayor Kevin Zahara with another Town of Edson update. Hopefully you had yourself a great Christmas. Dr. Hinshaw provided her first update since the Christmas break yesterday. Unfortunately, sharing some really sad news. 112 Albertans passed away from COVID-19 in the last 5 days. Our thoughts and prayers are with those families. Certainly sad news to see any time of the year, but especially during the Christmas break. We've also heard yesterday that the new variant of COVID-19 has been found here in the province of Alberta with a traveler from the UK that arrived before the flights were shut down. That person self-isolated, was following all the procedures, so they do feel that the risk of spread here in Alberta is very low, but there's always that potential. They are going to be following up with those that were seated nearby that individual in the airplane and to ensure that they're being tested for COVID and making sure that everybody is safe. Over the last number of days, we have seen a decrease in the new active cases that have been identified here in Alberta. Part of the reason for that is a decrease in testing. We currently have 15,487 active cases, 878 of those in the hospital, 148 of those in the ICU. Some really good news to share with you here locally. We've seen a huge decline in the amount of active cases. The last update, 42 active cases here in the Edson region. Quite a significant drop over the last several days, which leads me to some really great news to share with you today. The Emergency Coordination Center met and has decided to reopen the outdoor rinks here in Edson. Work is going to be starting on that here fairly shortly. It's going to take them a little while to get the larger rinks open. They're going to be focusing on the neighborhood rinks in West Haven and Tiffin. Work on that will start right away, clearing the snow and flooding to ensure that they are usable. And then they're going to be moving on to those larger rinks, which will take a little extra time because of the size of the rinks and because of the warm conditions we have been experiencing. So I'm super excited about that. It was a very difficult decision made by the ECC due to the amount of cases and the huge incline in cases that we were seeing at that time. That has significantly dropped off and hopefully will continue here into the future. But we have to make sure that we are using these rinks safely. We are looking for voluntary compliance. We are going to have signage put up at the rinks showing how many people are allowed at any one time, as well as encouraging people to, of course, physically distance. According to the provincial regulations, Dr. Hinshaw provided an update just prior to Christmas. Hockey and shinny is not allowed on the outdoor rinks, but you are allowed to go for a skate. So please enjoy that. Please do so safely. As I mentioned, we want people to adhere to the rules voluntarily and, make sure that you're being respectful of the space. If you see a lot of people waiting, you've been on the ice for some time, get off the ice and allow those people to use that facility. We've had really good compliance in the summer with voluntary measures and certainly hope that will continue. We do not want to have to provide enforcement or deal with complaints. We certainly hope that citizens will use these facilities appropriately as they have in the past. And we certainly don't want to shut them down again. That is not something that we take any joy in. So please use those facilities safely. Once again, those community rinks in West Haven and Tiffin, work to reopen those will start very shortly. May take about a day to get those reopened, and then they will be available to use. And those larger rinks, hopefully by next week sometime, will be reopened in Griffiths Park and in Glenwood. Before I leave you, I do want to say just an amazing job, Edson, on curbing these numbers. Also an amazing job on supporting the Connect Christmas Hamper this year, as well as the Edson Food Bank. An unbelievable amount of donations made to those organizations, as well as to the Shelter Pod Initiative. Thank you to all the individuals, organizations, businesses, industry, nonprofits, churches, all the volunteers for just doing a wonderful job supporting those organizations here prior to Christmas. And we may need to make sure that support continues into the new year, as well as a huge thank you to our volunteer firefighters that took time out of their personal schedules on Christmas Eve afternoon to answer the call from Santa Claus to go neighborhood to neighborhood in our community. Really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the community for doing that. You really brightened the days of many children in our community. It was great to see so many kids excited through the videos I seen posted on Facebook. So thank you once again to the Edson Fire Department and Chief Robinson for doing that on Christmas Eve. And thank you to Santa Claus for taking the time as well. On that note, Edson, stay safe, take care of one another, and I'll have a further update for you next week.